Welcome to the Online Success Journey podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 187. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have Monte Wyatt, the CEO of Adding Zeros, leadership, management, clarity to CEOs and their executive teams. As a CEO of Adding Zeros, an executive development firm and one of the top coaches in action coaching, business coaching, Monte brings over 25 years of remarkable leadership, business, personal development experience to executives and their organizations. Monte's brand promises threefold: advance a career, transform a company, and achieve incredible results. Hello, Monte.
Patience, how are you today?
I am fine. Thank you for coming. I know the clan is anxious to hear your story, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my clan a little bit about your background and what you did before you started your online business?
You bet. Well, I have been bringing clarity to how business owners and executives lead and manage their business for 15 years. And prior to that, I was actually in the agricultural chemical business. I spent 14 years in that industry and different areas of sales training, sales management, marketing management, really touched every aspect of the business, and was traveling about 80% of my time. So 15 years ago, decided that was just way too much. And that's when I started working with business owners and CEOs and helping them grow their businesses.
What a great background. Okay, why do you do what you do?
You know, I will tie that to my corporate experience. You know, my whole drive has been to help organizations lead their businesses better. And it's a part of culture. It's a part of teamwork. It's a part of having clarity of where we're going and how we're going to get there. And in my previous life, I didn't feel I had that. And so that was one of my drivers for really getting into the industry, was to help organizations ensure that they had great culture and great teamwork and working relationships within their organization to help them move forward and achieve big things.
Let's put man aside, because you've been in business for a long time. How do you know you are successful? Business for a long time. How do you know you are successful?
You know, that's a powerful question. How I know I'm successful is when I have people share with me what I've taught them, how I've helped them, and they say this has really changed our organization, our business. And that's the reward that I get, is when I work with a client, whether it's minutes, days, weeks, months, or years, and they come back to me and say, hey, what you helped us with really did A, B, and C in our organization. And their gratitude really is what drives me, and that's a piece of how I know I've been impactful in their businesses.
Can anyone be an entrepreneur, or are some people more cut out for it than others?
You know, that's a powerful question. Being an entrepreneur is a life of ups and downs. You have to have high perseverance. You have to have big drive. You probably will get less sleep than others. You will probably work more hours than others. And if those are things you're not willing to do, then it's going to be very hard for you.
What have you learned from business as a whole?
You know, business is a big undertaking. And I really do think it's about creating discipline in your organization. And that's what I'm really about, is helping organizations bring discipline to the business. It's how we do things, whether it is culture, it's leadership, it's marketing. It's what are the points of discipline that have to happen every week, every month, to have consistency, to have focus, to have growth. And so that's to me, most businesses don't actually have discipline. It's based off of people and not the discipline of an organization. And that's a big challenge for organizations, is creating discipline.
How do you define the successful business?
There are, I'm going to say, five key words that I'm going to use to define a successful business. And they're going to relate to many other words, but number one is sustainable. A great business has to outlast us, has to outlast the people that are in it today. That's what sustainability is. The second word is predictable. A great business is predictable, so they know what their future is going to be like. So they know their numbers. They have consistent marketing and sales efforts. A great business is stable. And when I talk about stable, it's about a stability of our team. There's low turnover. The next word is consistent. A consistent business is one that, as a consumer or a buyer of that business services, you know what you're going to get every single time. It's consistent. And to me, the last component of a great business is that it has an emotional connection. And what I mean by that is the employees are emotionally connected to the business. Customers are emotionally connected, meaning that they see value in it. They love what they do. They love how they do it, and they want to be associated with that. So sustainable, predictable, stable, consistent, and an emotional connection. That, to me, is a great business.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
It's about constantly learning. Every single day, every week, what are you learning? How are you growing your skills? And that's what I've done. I'm consistently reading books. I'm consistently going to conferences, opening my eyes to new ways of working, new concepts, new ways of thinking. So my exposure to new insight and activity is always there. And to me, that's a big thing that every business leader, every executive, every CEO needs to have, is a mindset of learning, a mindset of constantly asking, how can I? And a view of abundance in their learning and their thinking.
You talk about mindset. What is the mindset is needed for organizations today to be successful?
There's a number of things, and you said it right. It's mindset of an organization. And mindset of an organization starts with the leaders of the business, the executive team, the CEO. And mindset of an organization starts with the leaders of the business, the executive team, the CEO. There's 3 or 4 mindset points that I'd like to share here. Number one is a mindset of abundance without limits. And what I mean by that is that there's always enough, that there's more than enough out there. The opposite of an abundant thinking is scarcity thinking. And scarcity thinking is, I don't have enough clients, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right people. Abundance thinking is, we can do more. Abundance thinking is, there's more opportunities than we know what to do with. And it's that mindset where we start to attract it. So the first area of mindset, I think, is powerful, which is abundance. The second area that I want to touch on is, I'll call it ownership, and even ownership for success. And this is an organizational mindset, again, how every of the business being successful, ownership of their actions, ownership of their decisions, ownership of how they influence others. That's ownership for success. And in many businesses, they don't have the ownership mindset. They have a blame mindset where it's somebody else's problem, or it's not my issue, I'll let someone else fix it. We have to have an ownership mindset. The third point of mindset I'll touch on is big picture. And what I mean by big picture is, there are so many ways that a business impacts the world, and it is seeing how big the impact is. And big picture isn't just getting caught in the details. It's the big picture of, what's the real impact that we have today? What's the real opportunity in the market? What's the real core customer that we're after? It's a big picture thinking that we can step out of the rush of the day to day and focus on the bigger picture of where are we headed and why are we headed there. That's big picture. The last point of mindset that I'll touch on, to me, it's all about habits. And an organization needs to be built on habits as an organization, not habits of individuals. We want the personality of each individual, but as an organization, what are our habits for marketing? What are our habits for how we train and develop our team? What are the habits that we have in our thinking and our planning for our business? So abundance, ownership, big picture, and habits. Those are to me some big points of mindset that every organization needs to have.
What grounds you?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. What grounds me? One of my passions in traveling so much many years ago, I'll call it, what grounds me is my family. And I have 3 amazingly unique daughters and a wonderful wife of almost 22 years. And the 3 daughters, they ground me. They are each different in how they think, how they act, how they dream. And, that excitement right there of seeing 3 individuals grow, that keeps me doing what I do every day, because I want to make sure that others that I interact with have that family life, that personal side of it that keeps them excited. And the question of what grounds me, it's what keeps me sane, I'll say it. My family keeps me sane because of our personal goals, what we want to achieve together, what we enjoy. And right now, our family is into all the Avengers movies. The 2 out of the 3 daughters and I have watched every one of the Avenger movies together, and we're excited to go see Endgame here coming up. So my family is what grounds me. I'll say that.
Okay. In your business, say for the last 15 years, do you have a mentor? Have you had a coach yourself since you own a coaching business?
Absolutely. I actually have multiple coaches that help me in my thinking. I've got a coach that helps me with strategy in my business. I have a coach that helps me with leadership. I have a coach that helps me with financials. And I view it as each coach has their role, and I have to be congruent. If I'm not congruent in what my business is providing in the world and what services I'm providing, how can I truly fulfill what I'm supposed to be doing? So that's something that keeps me going as well and keeps me grounded is having a coach that I consistently talk to, that challenges me, that encourages me, that pushes me to new ways of thinking, new exposure, new heights, new challenges. And that's an important piece of my business as well, is who I interact with and how I interact with them. So my coaches are very powerful in their influence of what I accomplish and what I do every day.
What is the most valuable thing your coaches or your mentors has told you?
The most powerful thing that I've learned from my coaches is to dream and to get out of your comfort zone. What if? And then how can we? What if, and then how can we? And that's a powerful thing to even step back and say, what if we accomplish this? And then how do we get there? And how can we get to that point? That's probably the thing that has helped my business, my team, my organization grow the way that it's been, is just start that, let's think bigger. Let's think what if. Let's think how can we? And putting that abundance again with no limits is a powerful thing. So that's a big learning that I've had over the years from my coaches.
Who are the 5 constituents that every business must satisfy?
You know, the book that just came out called Pulling Profits Out of a Hat does focus on 5 constituents that every business has to satisfy, and it's interesting how many businesses may only focus on 1 or 2. And the most logical one that most businesses focus on are the stakeholders. You know, it's the board of directors, or it's the investor, or it's the owner. So that's the first one that comes to mind with so many people. But there are 4 others that we've got to make sure we're satisfying. I want to start with, so I just mentioned the stakeholder. The second one I want to mention is the company in general. What I mean by the company as a constituent, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, that the company should outlast every person in it. And we satisfy the company by ensuring that we are profitable, that we are going to be around long term, that we are keeping our employees. So the first constituent is stakeholder. Second one is the company. The third one I want to mention is the customer business. If we don't satisfy the customer consistently, they're going to go somewhere else to get satisfied, get their product or get their service. So we have to make sure that we have great customer service. We got to make sure that we have the right marketing that's attracting our customers. The next area that I think is a big constituent that, again, many businesses miss, it's the team. The team has to be satisfied. And I do believe this. If we have a satisfied team, we will have satisfied customers. We satisfy the team by making sure that we are training them, by making sure we have the right people in the right positions, that we have the right team doing what they need to be doing, and we're training them. We're teaching them how to be leaders. We're giving them the tools to be the best they can in their jobs. That's satisfying the constituent of team, and the last constituent I want to mention is the community. Every business satisfies the community in a number of ways: by adding jobs, by paying taxes so we can continue to grow our communities, our streets, our parks, our schools. You know, the constituent of the community is very important, that the communities we live in, we should be giving back to them so they are being satisfied for the long term as well. So there are 5 constituents that every business has to satisfy. It's the stakeholders, it's the company, it's the customer, the team, and the community. And once you start to satisfy all 5 of those areas, your business will grow exponentially. And if we are not satisfying even just one of those areas, we aren't living to our fullest potential.
Let's talk about your actionable coaching, business coaching. Tell us more about it.
Well, Action Coach Business Coaching is a global network, a global franchise of business coaches. There are over 1,000 of us around the world, and I'm located in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, and it's an amazing network. And as I said, with over 1,000 people, you have many experiences, you have many tools to use, and that's the power of that network, is that we work so closely together. And that's when Action Coach Business Coaching is really focused on small businesses. And we just launched a new company called Adding Zeros, and Adding Zeros is focused on the mid-market. And when I say a billion in revenue, and it's really that mid-market that's growing fast. It's the mid-market that often has grown so fast their insides haven't kept up. So Adding Zeros is a new organization that has facilitators that help organizations that are fast growing, and executive teams and CEOs that want to keep growing their organizations, but want to bring greater structure, want to bring greater discipline into their businesses.
Who is it for the Action Coaches businesses then? What is your perfect clientele?
So the perfect clientele for Action Coach is probably a business that's maybe 800,000 to a million in revenue that know they have a great product, but need help getting it off the ground, need help hiring the right people, need help bringing structure into their business, where adding zeros, I want to say it's a fair amount larger. It's 10 million in revenue, where they have a CEO, they have an executive team, and they've been growing, and their insides haven't kept up with their growth. Meaning, we need greater process, we need greater strategy for the future, we need greater culture to ensure that we sustain this growth and the business. So there's two distinct markets between Action Coach and Adding Zeros.
Where do we find these two businesses, and how can we connect with you?
I'll give you the website. AddZerosNow.com is where you can learn about adding zeros. So Add Zeros Now, AddZerosNow.com. So those are the two websites where you can gain insight. And again, depending on the size of your business, the size of your executive team, depending on which one is the direction you'd like to head.
So, Clan, there will be more from Monty in a moment. If you are listening on one of the many podcasting platforms rather than my website, and you are encouraged by Monty's journey, go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for a bonus portion of the interview. The Online Success Journey is a wonderful membership community built for people searching for the path to success. We are one big clan, and you can be part of this community for free. Once you have joined the clan, click on part 2 of Monty's journey or over 150 other journeys that are available, and learn how you can find the right path for your own online success journey. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Monty.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.